So I was driving down the road and I saw a guy mowing his lawn, and he had long blonde hair, looked to me to be about my age. So since he was in my old neighborhood of my grade school, I don't know what possessed me, but I decided to stop and ask him if we went to school together. So as soon as I did that, he starts going, and he's speaking French. So that pretty much shut the door on that possibility that he was some guy that I went to school with decades and decades ago. So I tried to communicate, and I said, okay, I'm guessing my minimal Spanish isn't going to help here. And I kept wanting to try to speak to him in Spanish, but I don't think that's going to work for a Frenchman. Anyway, he took it in stride and laughed, and I don't know if he knew what I was trying to say. I tried to pantomime, I think you, and then I don't know. I could have thought I was coming on to him. I don't know what that. I didn't have a thing for what school would look like in a pantomime. So anyway, once I did the same thing, I saw a lady. This was a long while ago, and for something just said to me, ask her. She was older than me, clearly, about 15 or less than 20 years older than me. Something told me, ask her if she, apologize for asking her such a bizarre question and not to get weirded out. But was it possible that this is a stranger, that she might have given a baby up for adoption some 40 or 50 years earlier? And could she possibly be my mother, who obviously I was adopted, I don't know my birth mother. So I asked her, and she was not weirded out. She actually said it was like a compliment. I don't know, a compliment, or she was what's the word? She was flattered. But I know that was a weird thing to do, just going up to a stranger. But I just had that, you get that feeling. And if she'd have said yes, and I ran into my mother who put me up, who left me, I assume, at a Catholic orphanage where I was adopted in Washington, D.C. If that had happened, if I didn't do it, and it was her, that would have been probably one of the great regrets of my life. And if I had done it, and if I did it, and she said yes, that would have been one of the most bizarre and crazy things that ever obviously happened in my life. So anyway, I asked that guy. He didn't know what I was talking about. But, what's wrong with starting a conversation? He's going to go home today. He's going to go into his house after mowing, and at dinner say, this weirdo came up to me. I don't know what he wanted. And that lady's going to go home and either think about it or whatever. Or she might have gone home that day and said, what a bizarre and, I hope, heartwarming experience she had that day. So, anyway, I guess if you ever have a weird feeling, unless you think it might result in violence, you might get, you don't want to ask someone. I feel like you want to give me $1,000. I just have this weird feeling that you want to give me $1,000 because they might take that as a robbery. So anyway, it didn't work. He definitely had the long hair. He could have been like a kind of a liberal kind of guy, even though I went to a Catholic school. That doesn't mean anything. He really, and the last thing I'll say, he kind of looked like Iggy Pop. He really looked a lot like Iggy Pop. So, anyway, who knows? Take what I say for what it's worth. If it means anything, or if it gives you anything, good. If not, oh well.